you go die. Make them bury you. Born you again in them old Igbo land. You won't go die, make them bury you. Born you again, for them Igbo land. You won't go die, make them bury you.
Hi, this is Monday, and once again, I'm here with you. Please like and subscribe. Leave me some comments because I'm learning. I'm still learning. And I have a lot of questions, but America is in a very confused state right now. Not just America, but the entire world. Actually, the entire world is looking at America in her chaotic state. And I'd like to speak with you about what I'm seeing here in America. And I just want to try to connect the dots. I'm seeing more and more high-rises going up. At the same time that I'm seeing more and more high-rises, I'm also seeing the streets starting to fill with homeless people. And I know that millions of dollars have been raised to help these homeless people. But the question is, how is that money being spent? I worked for the Department of Social Services. Social Services is a department that, it encompasses a lot. I think they have every type of job you can have in social services because it's supposedly for the people. And if I'm not mistaken, so this is where I would need clarification from someone who really knows that side of the game. The federal funds the state. The state funds the cities and the counties. And my point is this, back to those high rises that are being built everywhere, and all these people on the streets, and all the businesses being closed. I'm talking about mainstream America, mom and pop businesses. I mean, these are things you should look at. And right now, we're all being controlled by the media. And from personal knowledge, I know that the media has what you call program directors. Now, just imagine if there was one person, a COO, I would say that's a chief operating officer, that tells all the networks, except the independent ones, what to say. And they tell you what to say. You are not really allowed to deviate from that storyline or scenario, because if you do, you can be terminated, which means loss of job. So, going back to the problem of all the housing, the housing shortages, but I see all these high rises empty. I see mainstream America out of work. I see businesses closing, and some of them are never going to come back. And everything is blamed on COVID. Now, I know COVID is real because last week I did speak about my theory, or not just theory, because I read about it, where the scientists were experimenting here in America, and they got busted, and they were told to shut down. In the shutdown, they moved to China and Fauci was in on it and all of that. So I already spoke about that. So, don't take my word for anything. Just go do your own research, okay? But the part that bothers me are the innocent people that are getting caught in the crossfire. And having been a social worker, and I mean one of those ladies that are out there in the field, home to home, doing social services on the real side and real tip, going in and seeing how people live here in Los Angeles that's on welfare. I want you to know, okay, let me just read this letter. Well, not necessarily a letter. How about something that actually happens? And that's the sad part. Because I've already talked enough. So let me get to the letter. I keep saying letter, but let me get to the story, okay? Here's the story. Okay, let's set the scene. I'm setting the scene for you. You're a single parent with a child. You work full time for $14 an hour. You bring home roughly $800 per check. Your bills, rent, $1,000. Electrical, $150. $250 car payment. $150 car insurance. So let's do the math here. You bring home about $1,600 a month, and your bills average about $1,550, give or take. You are barely making it. This doesn't even include groceries, internet, cable, cell phone, etc. Nor does it include child tax credit or child support. Now, it's a really cold December, and you get a power bill for $600. Okay. How do you pay that? To put it simply, you don't, because you can't. So your power gets shut off. But you don't know what your lease says because you haven't really read it and understood your lease. It says you are evicted if your utilities are terminated. So now you're in court crying to the judge who doesn't care. And you have 10 days to get out of that facility that you're living in. Well, you're in luck because you found somewhere with 3 days to spare and it's only $650 a month. But to get in, you have to pass a background and credit check, which can't, because you just got evicted. You've never been a criminal, but even if you could pass it, you're looking at $1,300 to move in after paying the deposit and first month's rent. Time's up. Landlord shows up at 7 a.m. with the police and change your locks. So now you're living in your car with your 7-year-old son and everything you need to get by. You tried to get a storage unit, but you don't have a building address, so they won't sell one to you. So you can only take what you could fit in your back seat. You pay to shower at a local truck stop and eat whatever you can cook in the gas station microwave. Someone sees you and your son living like this and calls children's services. Guess what happens next? They remove your child from your care. As if this isn't devastating enough, you lose your job too, because an employee loses her child reflects poorly on the company. So now you apply for an apartment with the region, where the waiting list is 3 to 7 years. Then you go into Walmart to put in an application. When you get back to your car, you see that your back window has been smashed and someone helped themselves to your belongings. Remember that it is December and really cold. And now you have damage to your only shelter. You call your car insurance, who says your deductible is $1,000. And they're going to increase your monthly rate since you're now high risk. You call the homeless shelter as a last resort, and all their beds are full. I'll stop here because I think you get the point. The people we work with every day are these people. We are these people. We are all so close to homelessness and don't even realize it. All it takes is one unexpected bill, one fender bender, one layoff, one house, one fire. Instead of talking negatively about people who are poor or homeless or need assistance, why don't you try being thankful that you're not in their shoes? Not only be thankful that you're not in their shoes, but stay humble. Be thankful for what you have. I'd like to thank whatever person who took the time to write this so that I could read it and share it with you and let you know that what they wrote is the absolute truth. As a social worker, I encountered things like this. And those numbers are growing. Those numbers in the streets of America are growing. And once again, I have to ask, why? Well, when I connect the dots, I see this whole COVID-19, the global shutdown, as the door opening to the New World Order, the NWO. And when I look and I see what's happening in the world today, and I start to connect my dots of common sense, because believe me, I'm no scholar here. But I've lived, I've learned, and I've listened. And what I'm seeing now is frightening, because a lot of people only see right now. They're not looking ahead. My dad always taught me as a child. He would always say, Sandra, look ahead. And when I look ahead, the things that I'm seeing are not beautiful. When I look ahead, I have the validation of the prophecy, of the knowledge that I was reared with. With the prophecy, with the scriptures, with the predictions of Nostradamus, when all of these things start to come together, and then other people are shouting conspiracy theory, it makes me go, So, some things I know to be true. That story that I just read you, that happened in someone's life. I don't know the author of that particular story, but I know people through the Department of Social Services that have lived that scenario. There are people out there now living that scenario of spiraling down. And the masses are like one paycheck away from that same spiral. I know another story, and this is a story that was told to me about a woman, an elderly woman, a senior citizen, who got caught in that spiral, or that spiral down, not sparrow, but spiral down. The woman, the story that they gave us during our training with the County of Los Angeles was this woman who, she had a really good job. She was renting, she had a car, all of that. She was doing very well, but she's single. She became ill. She had to be hospitalized for a month, 2 months. And after being released from the hospital, she was returned home. And she needed another 6 to 9 months of rehabilitation. Now, all of her savings have been depleted at this point, and her medical benefits are due to run out. So now she gets an eviction notice. This is what we were taught in training. And when she was evicted, she moved into her automobile. All she had, all that she could take with her, was piled into her automobile. And that's all she had. Those were her possessions. And from there, she was forced to the streets. And a woman living on the streets in downtown Los Angeles is very high risk. She was raped, of course, yes. So just remember, when you see those who are homeless, not all of them are drug addicts. Not all of them are criminals. And not all of them are mentally imbalanced. Some are there because the bottom, well, that false bottom that they thought they had fell from underneath them. Once again, if you have anything to add to what I'm saying, or if you even disagree, or if you have more knowledge or can teach me something, would you please subscribe, like, and leave me a comment? Thank you. And I hope to speak with you again next Monday.